There's been raging discourse over the past couple weeks about international cultural norms and good taste, thanks to the movie about the chimp-man chimera hybrid, who's not actually a chimp-man chimera hybrid, but a pop star named Robbie Williams, who everybody in the UK knows, but nobody in America under the age of 40 knows. And it's basically just left a ton of us Americans absolutely confused, and a bunch of British people going, "Oh, you blokes don't like Robbie Williams? You're a bit weird." I really hope they don't get mad at me for using the accent. So the whole thing got me thinking, what else do non-Americans think is weird about us Americans? The list is never ending. It seems like the interpretation of America is we're obsessed with eat burger, hump, and shoot gun. So today we're gonna find out why the world thinks us Americans are so weird. That's for you, Shrek.
Are you ready to rock?
So to get a proper idea of what the world thinks of us, we're going to be looking at an article from the International Cultural Exchange Services blog. And the ICES asked foreign exchange students around the world, what are the things that surprised you the most about Americans? And here's what they answered. Americans talk to strangers at the supermarket. Now, based off the image they've chosen here, it seems like they think that Americans just like walk up to any random stranger around the supermarket and strike up a conversation, which I guess is slightly true, but also slightly not true. I'm pretty chatty myself, but I don't find myself going out of my way to have conversations with people in the supermarket. Maybe other people do that. But let's see what they're getting at here. People talk randomly in the store even when they don't know each other, says ICES student Yizeline from France. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. This is perplexing to many foreigners, including my daughters who grew up in Spain. Mom, it's so embarrassing. Please don't talk to people you don't know, they beg me. You always told us not to talk to strangers. In her book, The Culture Map, Erin Meyer describes peach versus coconut cultures. In many cultures, people learn to be like coconuts, with a hard shell that's tough to crack, but once you do, you are in. In the USA, we learn to be like peaches, soft on the outside, but with a hard pit all the way in the center, where our real relationships take place. So it's easy to sink in, but that doesn't mean we're your new BFF. And this can be confusing for a foreigner who thinks something unique just happened while standing in line to pay for milk. I like peach versus coconut. That's interesting. Are you a peach or a coconut? But I'm from New Jersey, so like I feel like we're neither peaches nor coconuts. Like, I don't know, what if you're just hard all the way through? I'm not hard all the way through. I'm like soft all the way through. What's like softer than a peach? What's a peach with a soft center? Like a peach with a jelly donut in the center, or just like an amorphous goo blob a la Dragon Quest or something like that? I'm probably more along the lines of that. But I actually think Jersey might be more coconut than peach, because I feel like people are hard on the outside and then gooier on the inside. Maybe there's a different part of the US that's like more peaches. Let me know in the comments below. I really just know like what Jersey's like, and I think Jersey's a little more coconuts. But let me know where you're from and if your peaches are coconuts, because I'd kind of be interested in seeing what's what around that. Americans give guests a tour of their home. Yeah, we do that. That is kind of weird, right? Like, I guess it's a hospitality thing, but it's kind of like, hey, welcome to our house. Like, we're probably gonna be in the kitchen in this room for like the whole time, but like, here's every single room and all the bathrooms, by the way. You're probably just gonna use this one on this floor, but like, here's ours, just so you know what it's like when we're pooping. I don't know. I mean, it feels normal being from America. Like if somebody gives me a tour of their house, I'm not like, what are you doing right now? Are you bringing me around your abode? Are you showing me around your dwelling, you freak? Well, let's see what they think about it. American hospitality is both famous and puzzling for people from many cultures. I've heard many Spaniards marvel that American families open their homes to host exchange students for a whole school year. It's so generous, but why do they do it? And then there's the house tour. As one Japanese visitor describes it, the Americans were very kind to invite me into their homes for dinner, but always, as soon as dinner was over, they would ask if I wanted to take a tour of their house, as if it was some sort of monument. I really did not want to, but I could not tell them no, so I said, yes, please. That's pretty funny, yeah, like, I don't know, I don't really want to see your house. What's in your bedroom? I bet a bed. Like, I don't know, do I need to see it? Do I need to see where you're taking your socks off at the end of the day? Where you getting your socks stank at? Like, I don't need to see that necessarily. But I just love how blunt this guy's being like, no, I did not want to walk around the house, but I couldn't say no, so I guess I'm gonna find out where the sock stank is at. Americans wear shoes in the house. This is a controversial. This is gonna cause like a firestorm in the comments, because I know plenty of people who wear shoes in the house. I know plenty of people who don't wear shoes in the house. Me and my wife got a no shoe situation in our house, but I grew up in a shoe in the house household. So, you know, it's different all over, but I know people got very strong feelings about this. Let's see what they say here. Americans wear shoes in the house and have carpets, reports ICES exchange student Jenny from Korea. She's onto a big secret that anthropologists like Geert Hofstede. I'm not doing good for Team America on this one. I'm sorry, the pronunciation. We're bad. We're bad at it, okay? We're all bad at it. She's onto a big secret that anthropologists like Geert Hofstede talk about. Every culture has its own rules for hygiene. Hygiene is less scientific and more cultural than we think. But why do Americans wear shoes in the house? Probably because it takes too much time to be taking them off and putting them on again and again. And we have discovered that shoes on carpets is quite harmless. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think about shoes in the house? What do you do in your house? Do you do shoes on the carpet? I bet you don't. I don't know. This one's a controversial one. Let me know in the comments below if you guys do shoes in the house or no shoes in the house, okay? Because I don't know. I don't really care that much. But I know a lot of people do. So let me know. Americans give hugs. Oh, yes, the hug. An American tradition as old as apple pie. What? I'm sure a lot of places hug, don't they? Mare from Spain. I'm sorry with the names, man. I think it's Mare, M-A-A-R-A. How do you say that? I don't know. Mare from Spain missed her country's traditional kisses on the cheek while she studied in the USA for a year. But she should have been able to get a hug. Where's my hug? Where's my hug? Don't I get a hug? I've heard foreigners observe that Americans tend to stand far apart. Oh, hi, Rimbo. Foreigners observe that Americans tend to stand far apart by their standards, stretching out a hand for you to shake. And then when you least expect it, someone will give you a great big hug. I love the way they set that up, right? You're going in for a nice cordial handshake, and then these stealthy Americans come out of nowhere and they hug your ass. They give you a great big hug and they make you feel all ooey gooey inside. It's a nightmare. That being said, I'm an Italian boy, okay? I'm a hugger, all right? I hug, okay? I do a little smoochie on the cheek if I know the person well and they're in the family, okay? But I know that's not the thing everywhere in America. You know, there's plenty of people who would rather not get hugged. As a matter of fact, I think like as a society, we're doing better at just like, you know, understanding people's boundaries and like asking them before we just go in for a hug. But I think Americans do hug a bit. I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? I'm not 100% sure because, again, I really only have the context of Jersey American, you know, Jersey Italian American. So, like, that's very hug-based. That's a very hug-based system that we got going on there. Americans admit that they don't know. I don't think all Americans admit when they don't know something. I think it's, you know, I think it could be hit or miss there. Let's see what they gotta say. The first time my professor told me I don't know the answer. Excuse me, sir, you're moving the computer. Your whole noggin. Oh, you're a coconut. You got a coconut right here on the top. No, I'm just kidding. You're like peach. You're just a straight up, you're a donut. You're uncooked dough. You're uncooked pizza dough. Anyway, Americans don't know stuff. First time my professor told me I don't know the answer. I will have to look it up. I was shocked. This student from Iran was quoted in developing intercultural awareness, but surely many people from around the world have made similar observations. In many cultures, a teacher should know the answer, even if it means making something up, or suffer humiliation. In the USA, we accept that we can't know everything, and we don't need to know everything, which leads to our culture of looking it up and asking questions. It's even common for Americans to remind each other that there's no such thing as a stupid question. But this was a pretty interesting one. The phrasing on this, I wasn't sure exactly what they meant by it, and I hadn't really thought of our culture like this, but yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of teachers that say they don't know something, so that's an interesting point. I don't know. What's your experience with that kind of thing? Americans teach their kids to be independent. People in Spain and around the world are shocked that Americans encourage their kids to leave the home around the age of 18. Why? And how can we let younger teens get a job and drive a car? In many countries around the world, parents are aiming for interdependence, not independence. Kids stick around the nest until they finish college or marry. The Americans' focus on teaching independence seems harsh and unnecessary to many people from other cultures. So I think it's a little bit different now. It's very hard to get a job, especially out of college, that's well paying enough to move out of your parents' house. So I think there's some more interdependence in American culture than it's maybe realized, especially nowadays. Just the economy is not as good as it used to be. Sure, maybe back in the day, it was easy for you to say, yeah, I'm 18, I've got like a job at a grocery store, so that's enough to like get a place or whatever. But it just doesn't really work that way anymore. So I think it's more interdependent than people think. And I would have thought that a lot of cultures are more independent around the world, but I don't know. Is this interdependence a very common thing? Let me know. Americans supervise kids in surprising ways. Although Americans encourage their kids to fly the nest at a relatively young age, it's typical for American parents to provide a lot of oversight until that time. How many foreign exchange students have been shocked because their US host parents insist on knowing where they are at all times? For example, they might ask teenagers questions like, where are you going? When will you be back? Who will you be with? And even saying things like, I need to meet your new friend's parents before you go out, or give me phone numbers of 2 or 3 friends in case you don't answer my calls and I need to reach you. In the USA, parents are generally expected to keep an eye on their kids. Many parents carefully supervise and restrict what younger children watch on TV. And then there's the famous Florida mom who was arrested for letting her 7-year-old daughter walk to the park. And while teens may get more freedom than 7-year-olds, parents are still expected to be responsible for their safety and well-being in ways other cultures might consider overprotective, as they look through the lens of their own culture, of course. Yeah, I remember my parents asking me stuff like that when I was a kid. They would want to know where I'm going, who I'm going to be with, phone number for a house or something like that, some way to get in touch with me. And yeah, that wasn't really like too unexpected. And sometimes you would, if you wanted to go somewhere outside of that jurisdiction, you got creative with it, But it sounds like that might not be the case in other cultures, maybe just exclusive to America. I'm interested to hear more on that. Americans make everything so big. We saw this coming. Come on. Yeehaw! That's American style. There are no small eggs in America. They just don't exist. They tend to be jumbo, extra large, large, or medium. It doesn't matter that the medium eggs are little. Small eggs don't exist, because I guess they think that they might be bad. That's a quote from Developing Intercultural Awareness, made by a Dutch visitor. And apparently many exchange students from Spain have made similar remarks after a year in the USA. Big houses, big streets, huge distances, very large food, humongous portions, gigantic soft drinks, big gulps, extra large products, XXL packaging, jumbo, everything. I don't know what to say. They make it big over here. We got big portions, we're big boys. It's all big. I don't know why. Maybe it's end game of consumerism making us want the biggest of everything. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it is a problem in a lot of regards, like you need to have a car to get to a lot of places, especially if you don't live in a city, right? Towns aren't necessarily walkable in a lot of the US. So there's tons of distances to travel and not necessarily all the resources or things you need within walkable distances. So, this is a real observation. This is a real thing that is sort of a problem in the US, In some ways, it's like whatever, right? Like the cheeseburgers are big. Okay, like that's kind of a novelty and it's fun, it's cool, nice big cheeseburger, whatever. You eat them every day, it's a problem, but like if you're just having a cheeseburger, like that's fine. But when our infrastructure ends up being too big or, not accommodating for people who can't travel great distances or something like that, that ends up being a problem. So, that is something that we are affected with over here. Americans tolerate gaps in bathroom doors. No, we don't tolerate this. It's the world we are forced to live in, okay? I don't know who was going around making it that every bathroom door needs to have multiple entry points. Even if you lock it, right? You could crawl underneath, you could drop down up top, every crack in the door is big enough to take a nice big peep through. I don't know where that came from. And I agree with the rest of the world, all right? I've been to Italy. I love the way it is in Italy. You got a whole door blocking top to bottom, right? And if you have an emergency, there's a button in there to let people know, I'm in the bathroom, help, there's an emergency, right? You don't have to have an opening big enough to have like a whole gaggle of geese get through, all right? I'm pretty sure it's everybody's nightmare to have invaders come through the bottom or the top of your stall while you're in the middle of a dookie poo-poo, okay? So it's not something that we tolerate. It's the world we have to live in. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so heated about that. I think this is gonna get a lot of people a little riled up. We think it's strange. We think it's strange. Let it be known. For the record, right here, in this video, the official record of the people. People from around the world go into a public restroom in the US and find large gaps in the doors. Where's modesty, decency, and privacy? Even I feel shocked after living in Spain for 25 years and getting used to more privacy in public restrooms. But why are there large gaps in bathroom doors in the US? According to this article at technology.org, mass-produced bathroom stalls are cheaper to make, but then prone to smaller or bigger gaps in the door opening, depending on who's assembling and installing them. And get this, the huge gaps under and above the doors and between the gaps, they're intentional. They make it easier to clean the stalls, check if someone's in there, and notice if someone has passed out in there. Yeah, it is easier to see if someone's in there, isn't it, right? You don't have to be like trying to take a look. And this whole they're easier to clean thing, I'm not seeing the evidence of that, all right? I'm not seeing the evidence of that. The bathrooms they look like crap around here, okay? No pun intended. But look, when it comes to the weirdest things Americans do, it can be found on TikTok, which you can find in my eulogy of TikTok over here. Plugged ya! And look at this little video down here. YouTube thinks you like it, so watch it and subscribe, okay, while you're at it, because I need more subscriptions. It's a very small channel around here. I'm trying to get big, okay? American style, you know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for joining me. I've been Hellion.Vision. I got a cab to catch. Hey, taxi! To the spaghetti house we go.